Hi, welcome back to the farm. My name's Roz, also known as Passion Flower, and you'll find me here each week talking about my farming and creative life. We've had a much drier week this week, but it is much colder. I can actually see my breath in front of me right now. I don't think it's going to show up on the camera, but I can see the steam coming out of my mouth. It's quite cool. It's been quite foggy and misty, but we've been having sort of mostly blue sky days, which is really lovely, but it's been freezing and the wind has been quite cold. So you can enjoy the sun as long as you're inside through some glass. This has led to some really spectacular sunsets. We've had oranges and pinks and purples. It's just been really, really beautiful. I've only got a couple of photos and they don't even do it justice. It's so hard to really capture what it's like, but just the whole sky glows and it's just a really, really pretty time of year. The cold weather has also meant that the chickens are off the lay, and that's for a number of reasons. It's because it is cold, the lack of sunlight hours, and also that they are molting, which means that they're losing their feathers. So all of the energy is going into keeping themselves warm and to growing new feathers. So for our flock of 50-ish chickens, we are only getting between 6 and 10 eggs a day, so not even a dozen. So that makes filling orders quite tricky to collect over a number of days in order to fulfill orders. And hoping that this cold little section of time passes reasonably quickly and that they will get back into a regular laying schedule. Another reason for the lack of eggs is that a lot of our chooks are now getting older, so they don't produce eggs every single day. We keep all of our chickens and let them live out their lives happily in the chook yard with all of their flock. But that means that not everyone is productive all of the time. So we need to get some new younger ones in to boost the egg production as well. So they'll be coming in the next couple of weeks once this really cold portion of the year is over. And that's a whole another lot of work that needs to be done because you need to train the new chickens to come inside before the auto door closes, and before they learn that, you have to go out and check every night and like literally pick them up while they're asleep and take them inside, and then help them to establish their position in the pecking order on the roosting racks, because they will often not be allowed to get up on there, so you kind of have to encourage them up and keep encouraging them up. Otherwise, they end up sleeping either in a nesting box or on top of the boxes when they should be in the roosting area with all the rest of the chickens. Another dye session this week, and it's all hanging, drying at the moment here in the shed. Hopefully we get some sun today through the glass and it will get dry. It is not too bad after yesterday in the sun, so I shouldn't have to resort to taking it to the house and putting it in front of the fire. So it was more sock yarn this week. I did a couple of Wonka colours. I did snozberries and You're Turning Violet Violet. I also did Ocean and Chockberry. And then I played around with a new colorway. I've been thinking about this color for a while, and I finally decided that it was time to dye it up. It is called Opal Hearted, and it is the final colorway in the series that I've done on the poem My Country. So I have it here. It's still wet, so it's a little difficult to show you, but I've got half of it is this sort of brownish red for the wide brown land, and the other half is blue and green and purple and pink for the opal hearted part of the wide brown land. So mixed together, it's going to be hard to show because it's still wet. It doesn't really play well when it's wet. Maybe I can try like this. So it's a combination of the two together. So I'm really happy with how the colors have turned out. I think it is really pretty. I didn't, stupidly, put a small mini skein in with this so that I could get a little bit to dye for myself. So I'm probably going to take a whole skein of this and knit myself one of my samples, and then probably knit myself a pair of socks to see if it has turned out the way that I hope that it will. It may end up needing a little bit of slight changing just to balance out the color. I might do a little bit more of this color and a little less of the opal, but I'll just see how it works up. I'm really excited to see how it goes. Maybe I take this skein back to the house and put it in front of the fire so that I can get this one dry. As you can see, I am wearing my flax again to keep myself nice and warm. I've talked about it before, so I will just leave a link below to my project. But I'm also wearing my clapper tee scarf. This was a pattern that was hugely popular. It is a free pattern from Knitty, and it is fairly small, just enough to sort of tie around my neck. And as you can see, it's a series of drop stitches. That's the back. Drop stitches, so it's knit on the diagonal with the drop stitches, and it's a really fun knit to just feel like you're about to lose half of your knitting, but to create these ladders through everything. All right, and now on to my projects. So there isn't a ton of projects to show this week. I've been very, very focused. First, I did do a tiny little bit on the current pair of socks I'm working on. Seems to be a pattern with the colors that I have today. I have turned the heel on the first sock, but really not a ton of progress. Now I can just work on doing a very short cuff on these ones, and then I should be able to get a second shorty sock out of this ball. But what I've been spending all of my crafting time on is my Douglas cardigan, and I'm so happy with it, and I've made so much progress. Last time I showed you, it was just the point where I was about to place the yarn for the pockets, and now I am just about to split for the fronts, and I'm super happy with how it's turning out. It's been a really enjoyable knit so far. I mean, it's pretty easy because it's just been like back and forth, one row of knit, one row of purl. And I've actually been enjoying the rhythm between the two stitches rather than just doing knitting in the round as you do for a jumper. I love how the colorway that I dyed up is turning out. You can see that bottom section is a little bit lighter. It's actually coming out much more prominent on the screen than it is in real life. But I actually don't mind that so much, and it's about where the pocket's going to go in. So I think that it'll actually work out when I put the ribbing on there. It will sort of highlight that whole area. And that was my choice to not alternate skeins. I just took a punt that the over dye that I did was reasonably even. And look, it's really not so bad. And when I put in the third skein here, you really can't see the difference. It's just that bottom one's a little bit lighter. But as I said, I chose to not alternate, so I am just going to keep going with it. And I'm actually really happy overall with how it looks. When it's back here, you really can't tell. So I'm not sure how much longer this is going to take me. Hopefully not too long, because I really would like to have it done and wearing it before the end of this winter. I'm up to splitting for the fronts, and then so there will be a little bit of fiddling around with moving things from cables, and then I guess the sleeves. I really haven't read any further forward in the pattern, but yeah, it is a great length now, I think, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it turns out. Well, that's it for another week. Thanks for spending some time with me. If you're enjoying these videos, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I look forward to seeing you next week on the farm. Bye.